What is extremely rare but people think it's very common? A woman's water breaking during pregnancy. It only happens outside of the hospital like 15% of the time. But in the movies it's always the dramatic telling of when a baby is coming. The fit guy laughing at the fat newbie at the gym. When I was fat getting into shape, I got nothing but positive reinforcement from these guys to never give up and keep going. My fat friends were paranoid people and assumed people were laughing at them. In reality, gym goers were just being social and laughing about their conversations. I'm gonna go with people actually eating Tide Pods. Probably just a few idiots that the media latched onto. Shark attacks. I live in Perth, supposedly one of the shark attack capitals of the world. Sure, we see them occasionally, but actual attacks are very rare. Based on movies, I'd say architects. Every professional worker in movies is an architect who goes to work every day with rolled up drawings hoping they are ready for the big presentation that will make or break their career. Being in an airplane crash. It's 1 in a million, but a lot of people I know are still more scared to travel on a plane than in a car. Autistic people being geniuses or savants. I work as a behavior therapist for autistic children. Many people seem to think that autism means a child is only socially awkward but incredibly book smart. The huge majority of the clients I work with are far behind in cognitive development, which leads to them being far behind in education and related areas like reading and basic math. Burglary in the middle of the night. Burglary happens most often during the day, when nobody is home. No burglar wants to break in and try to sneak around your place while you're sleeping. His biggest concern is to evade detection. It makes more sense to work in the daytime. In all likelihood, that noise you heard outside was a car or raccoon or your imagination. Go to sleep. ROSC, return of spontaneous circulation after CPR. I believe the actual success rate is 3%. And those people are very likely to have brain damage. Media would have you thinking it's a great catch-all for any unconscious person. Hitting a jackpot. That's why casinos exist and are hugely profitable. Hell, late last year in my city a woman won $1.2 million just on a VLT at a local bar. Great for her. But you know it led to an increase in people burning through their paychecks on those machines. Plutonium in 1955. I'm sure that in 1985 plutonium is available at every corner drugstore. But in 1955 it's a little hard to come by. Being able to make it as a musician or actor or many other creative jobs. And by making it I mean being able to earn some serious money or even just to make a living by just performing and not doing anything else. Most of the time, you will have to have multiple side projects that only roughly are related to actually performing. Or so I've heard. If there are people with personal experience in these fields, I'd love to read your comments. Successfully saving someone trapped by a fire via re-entering a burning building. The mortality rate for this is really high and fire departments have petitioned to stop showing this in movies because it usually results in another life being lost. Wasabi. You can only really find the real stuff in Japan. And even there it's really rare. A potential mate who is successful, smart, funny, attractive, mentally stable, ready for commitment and single. Their kid being anything above average. Deaths caused by nuclear power. It's actually far safer than just about every other type of power generation in terms of deaths caused each year. People genuinely needing to go to the emergency room. Also people understanding that calling 911 for medical problems is for life or limb-threatening emergencies only. That riding in an ambulance will not get you seen faster. And that driving yourself to the ER/doctor/urgent care is not only cheaper but smarter. Celiac disease/gluten sensitivity. Despite the prevalence of gluten-free and reduced gluten foods, only a very small percentage of population have an actual legitimate medical reason to avoid gluten. Terrorist attacks. In the sense that people and governments preoccupy themselves with planning for and preventing them in a drastically overstated, and often counterproductive or ineffective, manner relative to their incidence. Because when they do happen, terrorist attacks typically affect large amounts of people at once and receive a large amount of media attention. At any given time you will be able to recall a specific incident and infer that since so many were affected by it, the chances of it affecting you are especially high. They are not. It is an invalid inference. You will almost certainly not die in a terrorist attack. A new and thought-provoking question on Reddit. Rather than the usual 50 that are asked every single week and have been for the past 10 years. Abortions in the 9th month. The pro-lifers make it sound like all a person has to do is decide 10 minutes before labor pains start that they want to abort and the baby is murdered. In fact, late-term abortions are extremely rare and are performed only when there is a horrendous birth defect that will kill the baby and probably the mother as well. 89% of all abortions are performed in the first trimester. Going to say this with extreme hesitancy given the current climate. But false rape accusations. Gold and platinum are made when two stars collide. Diamonds are just compressed carbon, but people think diamonds are rarer because propaganda. Creating a successful business in a person's garage or basement. It's a big American mythos that most successful businesses were a labor of love built after work with nothing but sweat and determination. Especially regarding tech. In reality, most were made in an office setting and simply had a better marketing strategy compared to their peers. Also, don't underestimate the ability to acquire startup capital. You can have a vision, but without the funding, it ain't happening. Amusement ride incidents. You are more safe on the ride than driving to the park itself. The vast majority of incidents that occur are because of rider misconduct. Follow the rules. Trust the operators. And you'll be fine. Not necessarily extremely rare, but most mental disorders. People can say, OMG, you're so giving me PTSD right now. I'm so OCD, LOL. Oh, I hate that sound. I have misophonia, when in reality they're nowhere close to actually having that disorder. People think it's more pervasive in society just because the terms are thrown around so much.